Good morning, Oracles. What a great day we had yesterday, up 0.25%. Hey, we were green, we'll take it. Volume was down a little bit below average, but we kind of have a breath-holding moment going on leading into CPI data for Friday. Not a big deal. So we're probably going to see this for the next couple of days also. And then when we get CPI data, that's going to determine which way the market's going to go. Tesla right now has still been proving that it is trading with the macro environment for the most part. You know, we still have a lot of Twitter drama going on, but that really hasn't moved the stock much. So what we really have noticed lately, and Troy Teslake has pointed it out, that orders for Teslas have decreased. And a big reason for this is because lead times have been extended. Now, Elon did tweet a while back saying that, you know, they might hit a point where they're going to have to stop taking orders for vehicles because the lead times are getting so long. So this goes back to production. Whoever can produce the most vehicles is going to win. So looking at a potential recession coming up, right now it's not going to matter. Tesla has orders that are going to run them through almost all of next year. So because they're pushed out so far, they're going to have this cash flow coming in for them, not a big deal. So they're going to start looking at further down the road, maybe having to drop prices, but if they can catch up with production, you know, that could help. So a lot of different pieces to figure out over the next year. But even my order, it was slated for January to April of next year. It is now March to June of next year. So I've been on the list since last November. And yes, I pushed my order up and then I redid it so it kind of reset the clock back in March. But even then, it's now a full year lead time plus from March when I updated my order. So it is a ways out, and this long lead time has caused people to pull back and not order. Now, seems like it's mostly a US-based situation because it looks like over in China, their lead times have actually bumped up by 4 weeks, which is phenomenal news, especially since Shanghai has been back on track and starting to pump up orders. So we should be getting probably end of this week or over the weekend, the numbers for May out of Shanghai. This will give us a good indication as to how quickly they have come back up to ramp. And it seems like, you know, they didn't start getting back to really full swing again until, you know, just this past week. So those numbers aren't going to come in until July, but we'll see May's numbers and then we can kind of extrapolate some more information, being like, well, if May they only had this many shifts going in a looped circuit, now we're kind of fully opening up and supplies are coming in more regularly due to everything opening back up in Shanghai. June could be outstanding numbers. So we're still anticipating a weaker than expected Q2, but if we can see production numbers ramping up faster than we had thought, that's going to be a very bullish sign. Now also this week we should be anticipating the proxy coming out, and again, no official date on this, just the last times that they had extended it, and then about 30 days afterwards, they had come out with the actual proxy. And we should be getting it because we know that on August 4th is going to be the annual shareholder meeting where we're going to be voting on the issuance of more shares to come forth with a split. You know, many of you are asking in the comments, are we still going to be getting a split with the economy the way it is? Yes. I'm going to say this confidently, yes. I don't know factually, but when you're coming into a potential recession, and if Elon himself feels like we are going to be coming into a struggling economic time when it comes to the US economy, if we're going to a struggling time and we're going to be getting into a recession, the prices of things are going to be very important. And this holds true even for stocks. So looking at Amazon and Google splitting 20-1, bringing their stock price down between the $100 and $200 range, Tesla is going to want to be around that same range for a stock price. So my guess is if they don't do a 20-1, it'll end up being probably a 10-1 split to put the stock around that $70 to $100 range, depending on how much we run up into the split itself. Now, we did see a little bit of a run up into the Amazon split, and then of course the post-split sell-off a little bit. So not a huge deal there. That's totally normal. But we're anticipating, you know, Google coming up at the end of this month. So we'll see if that has the same reaction with a little bit of a run up into it the week beforehand, and then what happens afterwards. because chances are that's what's going to end up happening with Tesla as well. And now as far as a split date goes, still do not know that either. I am anticipating either end of August or beginning of September, because we're going to have the annual shareholder meeting on the 4th, where we'll have the vote, and then shortly after the vote, they'll be able to just say, okay, well, the shareholders have voted yes for this. Now we can say we'll do the split on this date. And so that's most likely what we're going to get as a scenario. So again, whether it happens end of August, beginning of September, or later on in the year has yet to be determined. But I'm guessing because the last time they did it was the end of August, we'll probably see it right around the same time this year. And now if you didn't see my video from last night, check it out. I put it in the description below. But I went over the entire macro environment calendar for the rest of the year when it comes to CPI data, FOMC meetings, GDP data, and election day. Because Tesla has been trading very strongly with the macro environment. The macro environment right now is a very heavy weighted blanket on us. So we can't fully escape it, and if we do, it's for very short periods of time. So if you're going to be following Tesla, you really need to pay attention to what's going on in the macro environment, because that's really what's controlling the most of the market right now. So check that out in the description. You'll see all the dates that I put in there. And then when it comes to Tesla specific dates, again, we should be getting the proxy this week. We do have Master Plan Part 3, which I'm assuming we'll get sometime later this summer. We're going to be getting the Shanghai numbers coming end of this week. Beginning of July, we're going to be getting the numbers. I think it's going to be July 2nd. Should be getting the numbers for Q2 for production and delivery. That's going to be a huge key date right there. And then on July 20th, we are going to be getting Q2 earnings. So these are the key dates that I'm paying attention to over the next 2 months to really follow what's going on. And then, of course, any other news that we get is going to be important. That's going to swing the stock. But macro has been so heavy, it might not even matter much. And if it does, it'll be a short pop and then kind of trade with the rest of the macro in that time. Let me know in the comments below, do any of you have a Tesla on order? And if you do, has your lead time changed? Mine literally changed today. So it was January to March yesterday, or January, April yesterday. Now it's March to June. So let me know if any of yours have changed, just so we can kind of track it. And let me know where you're from as well, because I'm in the US and it seems like a US only problem. But if you guys are from around the world, it'd be good to kind of track this and see how lead times are going over the course of the entire world, because by looking at this, we can see, well, how's production going? Because if production is doing well, like it is in Shanghai, lead times are getting bumped up. But because production, hasn't been doing great, lead times are getting bumped out here in the US. So obviously we're waiting for Austin to fully ramp. Elon is confident that Q3 and Q4, we're going to see exponential ramping growth going on. So this could really cut down on lead times come the end of the year. Still have yet to see that, but let me know in your areas what you have for lead times if you have a Tesla on order. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord channel. That link is in the description below. And I am over on Patreon if you would like to support the channel any further. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.